And I know that there's nobody who wants to be sick, bedridden, wanting to wish they were dead because they're completely miserable. I don't know anybody who wants to be that way either.
Behind the practice.
Welcome back to Behind the Practice. I'm Katie Brinkley, and today I am joined by Clinton Hughes. Clinton, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
You know, it's exciting because we had the opportunity to talk a little bit earlier today, and I convinced you to come on the show because I think that you have such a great story and mission that you guys are working on. So for people who are unfamiliar with you and your work, tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Okay, so I'm a researcher with ASU, Arizona State University, and we're also part of the XPRIZE Healthspan competition to reverse the biological age between 10 to 20 years within 1 year of interventions. And so what we're doing is taking all these modalities and demonstrating that we can reverse the biological age. And so we opened up a clinic in Scottsdale, and that's where we're going to be putting everything underneath one roof and then demonstrate that with our research participants.
It's really incredible. And like we were talking earlier, you have 3 different colleges or campuses that you're working with.
Yeah, so ASU said that we could have all of our modalities and have our research participants go to them because we have a lot of different equipment. And they're saying, well, you can go to these 3 different campuses, but the problem is we have, if you're a research participant, they're going to have to go to each of these different campuses every single day.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's like, well, let's put it all underneath one roof where it's convenient so that everyone's compliant. Because if I had to drive everywhere, I'm not going to want to be going across the valley every day. So this is why we created this research facility in Scottsdale.
So the research that you're doing here, you have ASU behind it. Why is this so important?
Oh, okay. So, my father died from IPF, was idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, and my twin brother, he passed away from aortic dissection, which is completely preventable. But those 2 deaths in my family and then several cousins all at once within 2 years made me really change my focus on how to prevent disease, how to cure disease, basically reverse age, because most diseases are age-related. And so I built a team. We're all ASU faculty, and we have also Dr. Joe Deturi, Dr. Deepsea, that is out of University of South Florida. He's also on our team. So we're across different platforms, all the same initiative, all the same wanting to cure people, help people, because the industry is sick care. It's all about pacifying you until you die. Yeah. And we want to change that. We want it to where you can live healthy, long years. That's what's so great about the XPRIZE Healthspan competition, is so that we can allow you to live long and healthy, not being institutionalized wishing you were dead, but playing with your great-grandkids. Yeah. And so that's what really is motivating us, how we can apply it to our own lives, but then also help heal other people and get them better. So that's all of our kind of motivation. Yeah. And that's why we're all in it. So my team, we're all like-minded, wanted to write research papers, white papers, get it out to the clinics, get it out to the people so that everybody is taking on these modalities and improving their lives.
What gap in the healthcare system really led you to want to start this mission?
Okay, so it's really about, it seems like you're just a number. You're just a dollar assigned to them. They will pacify you, give you, here's some medicine for you. And then now, 5-10 years later, you're taking 3 or 4 medications to fix the ones that you were taking originally. And you're sicker than ever. And you might be institutionalized and wishing you were dead. And now it's like, okay, well, I don't want that to happen. I don't want it to happen to me. So my motivation is like, how can I keep healthy? And if I do have, let's say, a metabolic disorder such as diabetes type 2, how can I reverse that? How can I get healthy so I don't lose a leg, an eye, or whatever have you because of these, preventable diseases, essentially?
I think that one of the biggest problems with our current healthcare system is that many clinics are just treating symptoms.
Yeah, they're treating exactly. They're treating the problem, not the cause.
Yeah.
Can you go back to, what originated the issue?
Yeah.
And that's exactly right. And that's what differentiates us from the current medical program that's driven by our pharmaceutical companies, right? Is that they just want to treat the symptoms, but not the cause.
Yeah.
And that's why we want to reverse and prevent it, because we're going after the cause and not just the effect. So we're going upstream and not downstream.
Oh, and I love that. And I think that with what we're seeing from people like you that are trying to change the healthcare system, we're seeing people that want to fix the solution before it starts. There's
Yes.
there's underlying things that we can be on the lookout for before it even arises.
Yeah.
What are some of the core pillars of your longevity success?
Core pillars. Okay, so, well, I would say definitely it would be the support structure, having like-minded people, having a university like Arizona State University that's also wanting to dive into medicine. They just got the medical university through John Schofield donation. We're starting up a medical school that starts this fall in 2026. So having both the university and our researchers on our core team. And then also we have Age Reversal Research Alliance. It's a nonprofit 501c that we're working on getting other people, other companies that are developing the technology to all work together to find the cure for death, basically. How can we live the longest, healthiest possible? And so that was what I was talking about. Having the infrastructure available is because now we're helping each other. It's not about the money. It's about healing people and driving the research and the technology and get it out there.
I'm sure a lot of people hear what you're doing and they say, well, longevity, dying is just part of life. You know, how can you extend the lifespan anymore? And what do you say to them?
Okay, so some people tell me that they don't mind dying like now. I'm like, is that true? Really, would you? I mean, I don't think anybody really wants to die. And I know that there's nobody who wants to be sick, bedridden, wanting to wish they were dead because they're completely miserable. I don't know anybody who wants to be that way either. And if I tell people, if you could be, let's say, 20 or 30 years old biologically, regardless of your chronological age, you're healthy, you're going out there doing everything that's fun. You got your great-grandkids, maybe even great-great-grandkids living 150, God willing. That would you rather have that, having that health span, being long-lived, versus dying early and missing out? I look at it that way. You can think of it as FOMO.
Yeah.
Right? Fear of missing out. I mean, would
the
you
ultimate FOMO.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I live if I could choose between living to 50 versus 150, and I can be the same as I was when I was 50 kind of thing, hands down, I'll do whatever I can in my life to be able to maximize my years of being healthy, disease-free, and ultimately happy with family and friends. So,
what biomarkers or tests are you currently using to grow the longevity through all of your tests and your research? Okay,
so we have team members. For example, some of our team members named Panisse, Dr. Panisse. He has a spin-out company called Theriome. And we take your blood. So ASU is processing all our blood work. We do blood work in the beginning, middle, and at the end of the clinical trials. But we create a digital twin, and we look at these biomarkers and put you where you are now, drawing a line in the sand, and compare you to through your biomarkers, where somebody who is younger, like say 20s, 30s. And then we have, and it's all AI driven, so then we also know, well, what are the therapies and therapeutics that diet and other interventions that can bring those blood markers into the line with a younger person. And we were finding out that actually helps prevent disease. So we're going to keep going further on that. And what it boils down to is personalized, targeted medicine. It is basically catering to you specifically, because everyone abuses themselves, ages differently. For example, an alcoholic versus a smoker. You got accelerated aging of the liver, accelerated aging of the lungs. So it can't be the same modalities, same therapy exactly for each person. So that's where I think instead of just being a quick number from a doctor that is treating you next, and it's the same outcome for everybody, they treat you all the same. It is really looking at your profile that's specific to you and catering a treatment plan that will make you the healthiest. and that's where personalized targeted medicine really comes in. And that's, I think, what differentiates us from other organizations out there, is that we really care about each individual person specifically and treat them accordingly.
I know you mentioned AI. You're using AI with some of your research. Has there been anything that's really jumped out at you where you've been like, man, I had this blew my mind. I had no idea on this part of the aging biology.
Well, I mean, I don't know about jumping out at me, but there's definitely like some biomarkers that if you look at like CRP, uric acid, and there's just a lot of these age-related biomarkers and toxins that if you were to do something about it, just being aware, oh, you are elevated, what do I need to do to bring it down, and actually doing an intervention, and then, oh, wow, I dropped this way down. This is like super healthy now all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But if we weren't monitoring and really focusing on reversing some of these hallmarks of aging, I think that's very profound, which it was not in existence when I was younger, and it's really just a new science today.
What is something that the industry is getting wrong about aging?
Oh, well, there's a lot. That's a well-opened question, I could say, because the thing is, you have different aspects. You have people who are ignorant, that our job is to inform them. Some of them don't want to. They, like you were saying, well, why should I have to live that long? When it happens, it happens. It's changing their mindsets. The industry is really, pharmaceuticals. It's all about the money and stuff like that. And I think that's shifting, especially with our younger generations. They're focusing on health now.
Yeah.
You got non-alcoholic beer. You have all these things that my generation is totally different than the Gen Zs, for example. Mm-hmm. They're now very more health oriented, and you can see that shift in the communities and the age groups about more focus on how they're living their own life, which was not before that. Before my age, it was all about partying and having a great time.
Yeah.
And this new generation is about, oh, how can I live longer? How can I be healthier? And I think that's great, because that's going to be shifting the medical industry. In fact, if you've seen the last couple of years, everyone's shifting their mindset to longevity now. It's becoming the thing now. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to be progressing further and further, and to the point where, hey, we don't have to die anymore. We don't have to get old anymore. That's where, especially with AI coming in involved, 150 seems like a realistic date.
Yeah.
Or maybe even longer. Maybe they'll find out where, hey, you don't have to die. It's optional.
Yeah.
But I think that's where the trends that's highly visible right now that you can see.
So speaking of trends, are there any trends that you see as being kind of overhyped right now? In the longevity space.
Oh, overhyped. Oh, you put me on the spot. I mean, there's all kinds of different hypes. Like hydrogen, water. That was a fad that came through. That really they're finding that, well, if you inhale it, it's a lot more feasible, and it's shown a lot of anti-inflammatory. So I think there's just changes in the focus of these different modalities, because you get the new shiny object that comes out, everyone's jumping all over it, and then when the science and literature sinks in, it shifts to what is more realistic.
Yeah.
I know that EBU has been also another trend, but I think TPE is the better for you. And if you were going to be doing like hyperbaric therapy and exercise, you don't want to continue overstress with an EBU on top of that, because of the reactive oxygen species. So I just say not do EBU, do TPE instead, or donate plasma. So you can see how there's some different latest, greatest things that's coming out that, it's better in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if someone's listening right now and they're saying, okay, maybe I would love to live longer. I'd love to know how long I can live. Maybe I've been living my life to try and eat healthy, try to run, I exercise. I want to learn more about what you're doing. I know that there are clinical studies through the university that you're doing, but if someone else, maybe they're in the Scottsdale, Arizona area, and they want to reach out to you and maybe sign up to learn more, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you and see exactly what you're doing? Because you're doing some really cool things here.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so we're going to be doing multiple trials for the XPRIZE, and through different IRB resubmittals for additional protocols. So we'll be doing. So basically, we're doing multiple clinical trials, and we're looking for research participants that want to sign up. So we're looking for people that are between 50 and 90 years old, that are male and female, equal distribution ideally across the clinical trial. But we need people to sign up for that. All the modalities are free for those research participants. And so they can sign up. They can come to either email me at clinton@youthrenewal.com. That's our clinic in Scottsdale. Or they can stop by. It's at 9362 East Scottsdale Road, 85260. And they can sign up as well for that. Or they can go to www.youthrenewal.com and also sign up for the clinical trials.
And the clinic that you're building here is very special. It's literally built around a lot of the equipment that you have. So
Yep.
before we wrap up this episode, let's just talk about that clinic a little bit.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we have this, it's called a multi-baric chamber. It's
Yeah.
the only one in the world right now that can take you from the bottom of the ocean to Mount Everest. So we have, it has two interlocking doors. It can sit 6 people in there, but we have it plumbed for 2 people, so you can do exercises in there as well. So it can go down to 2.4 atmosphere. Technically, it can go more than that, but that's where we set the limit to. And then we can take you all the way up to Mount Everest, about 16,000 feet, because that's where the FDA says you need to have supplemental oxygen. But we have, for example, Caroline, that's part of the Deafblind Everest Project.
Yeah.
She has Usher syndrome. She's 28. She lives in Britain, and she has a PhD, but she has Usher syndrome, so she's gone completely deaf. She's going to be almost blind, and she wants to go to Mount Everest before she goes completely blind. She's going to be coming here in March, mid-March, to train and get acclimated for Mount Everest in our chamber. So we're going to be provided there. We've had heavyweight boxer Kingsley. We have a lot of other professionals who want to get in there and train, because we can really work on their VO2 max and their athletic performance, because we can put them at any altitude.
Yeah.
And that's why the Cardinals go to Flagstaff to train. And then also you got the hyperbaric part of it. So there's 2 different ones. You got a hypobaric, which is like flying an airplane. That's 8,000 feet they set the pressure to. Denver, Colorado is 5,000 feet, which is 15% oxygen. So we're just simulating the oxygen level just by removing some of the air. Hyperoxia is through the hyperbaric, and we do supplemental oxygen. So the chamber itself is 21% oxygen, but you're breathing in 95 to 100% pure oxygen through the mask. So it comes in and then it leaves the chamber. So you only keep the 21% atmosphere. So it's very super safe in this chamber.
Yeah.
And then we also have a bunch of workout equipment that we're working with a sponsor named SmartFit, that we have their equipment in, and it's all state-of-the-art equipment. We had the walls torn down and brought in the equipment and then built the walls up around it, because it was just so large. The chamber itself is 9,460 pounds. And so it took a whole team to get it taken apart, put it through the double doors, and then put it all back together. And so we're going to be opening up probably next week sometime.
Amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, you're doing some really cool things, and I know that if you're in the Scottsdale area, the Arizona area, Phoenix, Tempe area, definitely look to get in touch with Dr. Clinton here, because you guys are really doing some incredible research, and I know that we will be reading about your studies and your findings in papers and research papers here to come.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're going to be providing everything under the sink, I guess to say the kitchen sink in this clinic. Everything from TPE to stem cells, exosomes, peptides, exercise, lifestyle changes, diet, hyperbaric, hypobaric, just almost pretty much anything you can think of is all going to be here underneath this alliance. of how we can all work together to figure out how to be immortal, essentially, is what it boils down to.
I love it. Well, this has been an incredible conversation. Thank you so much for joining me on this week's episode of Behind the Practice.
Behind the Practice is produced by Next Step Social and Podcasting and hosted by Katie Brinkley and Sean Quintero. A special thank you to our guests today. This episode was recorded live at the Boston BioLife Functional Longevity Summit. A special thank you to the team that helped make this podcast happen.